put the answer 4 there. Alright, now it says consider rectangle Z below. I drew this line here to show some separation. So they're saying consider this rectangle right here. Which of the other rectangles above, so out of all of these, are similar to rectangle Z? And then it says explain. So in other words, you're going to give me a letter, or 2 or 3, or however many letters there are, and make sure you explain. So the letters are worth 1 point, letter or letters, and the explanation is worth 2 points. And again, since there could be more than one answer, it's really a good idea in these cases to test each one. Right here, between Z and A, you can see that the width was split in half. The width was 2 here. Now the width is only 1. The height was 4, and it stayed 4. So you did not do the same thing to the width and the height to create this shape. So A does not work. Now keep in mind, this is your review, and when you take the test, you can write right on the test. So I don't care if you do this. If that helps you to eliminate it, get out of the way, that's fine. It's not a big deal. Because here's where I'm going to be looking down in this section for your answer. Alright, so let's look at the next one. From Z to B. I know these blue lines are here, but that's actually separating the two squares. So there's actually 2 there. Alright, so here Z again is 2 wide and B is 4. So we must have doubled or multiplied the width by 2 to get the new width over here. Here it's 4. So in order for B to be similar, we had to multiply the height by 2 as well. So B's height should be 8 tall for it to be similar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that does not work. Alright, now let's look at C. So from Z to C, the width doubled because it went from 2 to 4. The height here is 4, and the height here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the height doubled. So C works. So right now, before I forget, I'm going to put C, comma, and that's where my explanation is going to go. But again, let's test the rest just to make sure. Alright, D, right here, the width is 2, and the width became 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3 times wider. The height, did the height get 3 times taller? Definitely not. So we could probably eliminate D. However, as I mentioned in class, there are exceptions to the rule where if the numbers in front of the x and y are different, there is still a slight possibility they could be similar. This might be one of those cases. If we were to flip D on its side the other way, so that this would be the width and that would be the height, let's see what would happen here. If we go from 2 to 3, how do we get from 2 to 3? Let's do the math down here to see how you would get from 2 to 3. I'm just going to write 2 times what is 3. And how could we figure that out? Alright, one way we could do is treat this like an algebra problem. Again, 2 times what, whenever you have a number smushed against a letter, you know it means multiply. So 2 times what equals 3. Alright, I'm going to create some space here. Alright, so if we wanted to find out this whatever this A is, we're going to have to do something. We want to get A by itself. Right now, A is being multiplied by 2, and we want to get rid of that 2. And the only way we can get rid of that 2 is to divide by that 2. Alright, so I'm going to place a 2 underneath here, and then, as we talked in class about the seesaw, whatever you do to one side, you must do to the other. So we got to divide by 2 there. Now, 2a divided by 2, we have a 2 underneath a 2, and in general, you know that 2 divided by 2 equals 1, so they're going to cancel. So that leaves us with, oops, didn't mean to do that. That leaves us with a equals 3/2. Okay, another way would be if you realize you stick a 3/2 in here, 2 times 3 is 6, and then you got to divide that by that 2 down there, so it's going to give you 3. So that's another way if you can do it in your head. Okay? Alright, so what we just did is the width here is 2, and again we're pretending we flipped this shape over. So the width here is 3. How do you get from 2 to 3? You multiply by 3/2. Now let's see if we do the same thing to the height, to this height here. 4, so I'm going to write it here. 4 times what is, alright, so that's 4. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4 times what is 6? If it's 3/2, then D would also be similar. It would just be kicked on its side. It's the same shape, just kicked over, if that's true. So let's see. We want to try 4 times 3/2 equals 6. See if that... Alright, so we got it all written down here. 4 times 3/2 equals 6. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 divided by 2, because I could also put a 1 down here if I needed to. Hopefully you don't need to do that anymore, but if you do, it's okay. Just underline the 4 and you would put a 1 down here. 1 times 2 is 2, so you'd have 12 over 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6. Again, remember, I'm moving very fast here. 1, because this is a review, but 2, because you can pause this and stop it at any time you want to soak things up or to write questions down that you can ask me. Alright, so we went through all this to find out D happens to be similar also. Now with that being said, that's a lot to ask and for you to go through. We pretty much just wanted to show you that there are other possibilities like that. We're not going to make it that difficult on the test. So don't have to worry about if it doesn't follow the normal format we've been showing you in class, it's not similar. We're not going to flip shapes on their sides like that because it's a lot for you to have to look out for. Alright, so with all that being said, we just figured out that D is also similar. Alright, and then the last one we got to check is E. So we go back to Z, and we're looking at E here. How do you get from 2 to 3? Same thing, multiply by 3/2. And the reason I'm going so quick is because we already figured that out over here. Is 4 times 3/2 equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? No, because we just figured out it equals 6 in the last one. I probably should have left that down there, but oh well, I can get rid of that too. Alright, so E does not work. Alright, again, the question's worth 3 points. And I said 1 point for the letter, 2 points for the explanation. You can't forget the explanation, because that's the bulk of your points. Alright, so how are we going to explain this? Why is C similar and why is D similar? Alright, so for C, all you really have to say is C works because I applied the rule 2x, 2y, or you could say it has a scale factor of 2. D, you could say I applied the rule 3/2 x. Oops, I forgot the parentheses. 3/2 x, 3/2 y. And I flipped the shape on its side. Again, we're not going to give you anything as tough as D in the test, but I wanted to show you at least that the possibilities are there, and there is an exception to the rule.